everybody, and welcome. I'm not for sure what's happening with my phone. I tried starting that about 3 times for you all. So welcome and thank you for waiting on me. My name is Dr. Heather Carden. I am coming to you live from Ask Dr. Heather on our Thursday evening Health-Flix, kind of like Netflix, get it, Health-Flix. Really want to help you better understand some of your common health questions and concerns. So super excited to this is our first episode ever. If you saw earlier today, I did post a couple questions about what you'd like to talk about next week. So I definitely want to really hone in and target on what you want to talk about. So if you don't know me, my name is Dr. Heather Carden. I have been practicing for over 20 years here in Overland Park, Kansas. I am the co-owner of Carden Center for Wellness. I am also the chair, I thought I'd be funny today, I'm also the chair of Low-Carb KC. I am also a keto reboot coach. I'm a visual learner, so I like visual things. I am also one of the specialists for the company Prove It, who has made the first pure therapeutic exogenous ketone. So super excited to be here today to talk about that. But we're going to talk about what you all had asked. How do we win at this way of eating, whether it is paleo, low carb, keto, whichever way it is that you choose to eat with. I want to make sure that you understand the science behind it, and we help you win at all levels. So we're just going to get down and get started here. So with that being said, I forgot to say I'm also the mother of 4 amazing young men. My youngest will be 16 this weekend, can't believe it, and my oldest is 23. So when we talk about stalls or plateaus, let's define that first. So number one, what is winning to you? Is winning setting a certain target point on the scale? Is winning a certain size of clothes? Is winning actually maybe having better blood pressure? Maybe winning is doing a 5K. Maybe it's about getting off some of your medications. Maybe it's about more balanced mood, or reversing diabetes, reversing obesity, or preventing some of those lifestyle diseases. So remember what your why is, why you decided to make some health changes, why you decided to pop on here tonight, why you emailed me and said, yes, I want to hear all about that. So I do want to first up front apologize to anybody who tried to get on my Tuesday night Zoom. I have no idea what happened to my Zoom account. I could see everybody in the waiting room, but it wouldn't let me open the door. So I've sent a message in there. So I'm actually just going to replay what we talked about on Tuesday night and have you all here to help answer some questions if you have them. So number one, winning. What is your health goal? You don't need to have 20. You only need a couple, because once you fix one, you generally end up fixing the other ones. Say that your health goal is, I want to lose 50 pounds of fat. Well, 50 pounds of fat also leads to better energy, better flexibility, sleeping better. Maybe you have a sleep apnea machine because you are overweight or have some excess fat. Maybe you have some allergies. Getting the fat off will help balance your hormones out. So generally just having 1 or 2 health concerns will make a huge domino shift of everything else. And when I give you some ideas to help with your healthcare concerns, this is simply asking about progress, not perfection, and really just making 2 or 3 degree shift changes in whatever you're doing. So hopefully you grabbed your piece of paper and pencil. If you know, I talk fast because I got lots of good stuff to say, but we're going to get downright and started. So what is a stall or plateau? A stall or plateau is having no changes in 10 to 14 days. This isn't overnight. This isn't within 48 hours or 72 hours. It is no changes within 72 hours. What type of changes? Well, it's not just what your bathroom scale says. It can also be measurements. It can also be sleep. I know a lot of people have those sleep trackers now through MyFitnessPal and through Hilo that can actually tell you how your sleep is improving. A stall or plateau is no improvement in sleep, no improvement in blood sugar, no fat loss on this scale, no inches or centimeters lost head to toe. And I always encourage people to take measurements in really 10 or 15 different places so you can truly see where that fat or that weight or that inflammation is actually coming off. So make sure that you're not getting stressed out or frustrated with your body super early and not giving it enough time to make some changes. So number one, the easiest, very easiest, which can be the most difficult one, is if you have hit a stall or plateau with your health goals, whether it's blood sugar, hypertension, hormone balancing, fertility issues, fat loss, number one, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Think about this for a minute. I can go about 2 to 3 minutes without oxygen and then I pass away, right? If I were to do this, I would be gone in just a couple minutes. Well, the same thing's with water, except for times 10. You can go about 3 days without water. That's how important water is for your body. So if you're chronically dehydrated, and we know 79% of Americans are dehydrated, that can cause a whole cascade of different types of things, from migraines to headaches to constipation to muscle aches, soreness, fatigue. 2 to 3% dehydration can cause fatigue. So number one, make sure that you are drinking plenty of water. First thing in the morning, wake up, have 12 to 16 ounces of water, and then throughout the day, have about a half an ounce per body pound. So if you weigh 200 pounds, have 100 ounces of water. If you weigh 250, have 125 ounces of water. If you're drinking a lot of caffeine, soda, things like that, then you want to actually add an extra 8 to 10 ounces of water. If you work outside or do over an hour of workout, another 8 ounces of water. So that can be a definite way to actually kick or break a stall plateau. I know people oftentimes say, well, I don't want to drink water. I'm going to hold on to water and the scale's going to go up. Not true. Think of that dirty dish that's been sitting in your sink for a couple days. How are you going to get that off? The more water. And you don't just want to chug it. You want to just sip on it slowly throughout the day. So number one, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And I love reading you guys' comments out there. So my goal, knowing what my body water requirements are, is every 2 hours I have to have my water bottle gone. Now that would change if I had a 32-ounce bottle. Number two, which some people are starting to recognize that just came off the reboot, is that hidden food allergies can oftentimes cause your body to have inflammation and not lose that fat you want. Also can cause your blood sugar and your hypertension or blood pressure to go up. Think about your nose for a minute. If you have an allergy to something outside and your nose swells up or your eye swells up, it gets big, it gets red. The same thing happens if you're ingesting food sensitivities. It clogs the colon up, you could get constipation, and if food's sitting there too long, it will lead to candida or yeast infections, and we also know that if it's not being broken down, it can lead to hormone issues. So how do you know if you have a food sensitivity or food allergy? Well, number one, if you're allergic to moldy things, and people generally know, oh, I'm allergic to the mold, the pollen count is up. Anything moldy like dairy, cheese, kombucha, sauerkraut, vinegars, ketchup, all those things are fermented, which are actually molds, just like beer and wine. So cut out all of the moldy stuff will help as well. So just trying to check for those. If you know that you feel pretty good and maybe you have a couple scrambled eggs and then you feel like a little bit tired afterwards, or maybe you have a big old scoop of peanut butter and you feel tired afterwards, that's a sign it actually could be a potential food allergy. Maybe you know if you eat something certain and you know what that would be and you have gas or bloating or you don't smell so good afterwards, then that could also be a hidden food allergy. So whatever the suspicion is, remove it out. If you don't know, it's pretty safe to say take out all the dairy. Dairy's estrogenic. Even if it says it's hormone free, it still only comes from a girl cow. Milk is meant to get a baby calf to a cow to 2,000 pounds in 2 years. So if you're an adult and you're still drinking milk, stop it. You have teeth now, eat the steak instead. And then again, cheese is really hidden packed with calories, so cut that out. That can also be a great thing to actually help a stall or plateau. And then number three, journal your journey. Write down what you're eating, when you're eating, and then again, kind of how your body reacts, because oftentimes what happens is that we eat the same thing day after day. And Dr. Simeon wrote down that if you eat the same 4 foods 4 days in a row, so that would be eggs for breakfast, hamburger for lunch with broccoli, and chicken and green beans for dinner, no matter what that combination is, eat the same thing for 4 days, your body actually hits a stall or plateau. We have 21 essential amino acids that are required from our body to function and make healthy tissue. Well, if you're only eating a hamburger and a chicken, you're only getting a couple variety of meats or a couple variety of vegetables, your body will hit a stall or plateau saying, this is all I'm going to get. I'm not getting the other amino acids or other vegetables. I better hold on to this. That's another way to get things moving. So the rule of thumb is no 2 foods 2 days in a row. So if you have chicken on Monday, don't have it again until Thursday. If you have fish on Tuesday, don't have it again until Friday or Saturday. So just rotate through those foods. So as you journal your journey, write down what time you're eating, when you're eating, and how you feel. I know it seems very elementary, but I want you to learn to be your own detective to help solve these problems. And journaling can be super important. Maybe you're a person who's already lost 20 or 30 pounds of fat. The problem is if you're doing the same thing, say your body was 250 when you started and now you're 220, If you're doing the same thing, your body's not 250 anymore. It's a way different body, especially if you started exercising more and getting your lymphatic system moving more. Your requirements have absolutely changed. I've seen people who actually increase their caloric intake once they get that first 20 or 30 pounds off or get their blood sugar under control, and their body actually is much more efficient. Your basal metabolic rate goes up and you see way bigger changes. So that would be number 3, is journaling your journey. Number 4, create confusion. How do you do that? By rotating foods like we just talked about and rotating the times that you eat. So I'm going to take us, number 5 is intermittent fasting. Hold on to that thought a second. So when we're creating metabolic confusion, that is eating different foods, eating different times a day, and recognizing when you're hungry. Don't just wake up and say, okay, Dr. Heather, wake up, water, eggs. Like, if you're not hungry, don't eat. Take something to go with you, whether it's a beef stick and some cucumbers and some macadamia nuts. It's super easy to travel with that first meal of the day. Tuna salad, chicken salad, leftover hot dogs. I don't care what it is. Just make sure it's clean and not processed. But do not eat breakfast if you are not hungry. Don't eat if you're not hungry, because you're going to optimize that fasting period, because when you're sleeping, I hope you're not eating, your body's not digesting food. And then if you can just really saturate your body with good water, because we lose a lot of water at night while we're sleeping, then your body will continue to burn that fat, continue not to require your digestion system to work super hard, and you're going to be much better focused in the morning, not putting food first thing in your body. Number 5, identifying stress. So we know that this can be a number 1 deal breaker when it comes to fat loss. So, or balancing your blood pressure, or balancing your hormones. We should be sleeping no less than 7 and no more than 9 hours every single night as an adult. Now those do change when we're talking about children. You can go to the American Sleep Institute and look at their recommendations, but 7 to 9 hours is pretty normal for an adult. We know what happens if you don't get enough sleep, or you're eating dinner too late. Your cortisol level rises, your hormones can't replenish, and hormones out of balance lead to fat loss, hypertension, and blood sugar issues. So when we look about stress in our life, think about, how can I eliminate stress? Maybe I should get off a committee that I've signed up for in the neighborhood, or at school, or something like that at work. Maybe it's a couple relationships that maybe not be super positive for you. Maybe you're over expecting too much from yourself, like being the perfect mom. We all have that kind of syndrome where we want to have things be, and then there's real life. So again, this is about progress, not perfection. When I was in school, I used to say, you know, I'd rather be 10 pounds less than 10 pounds smarter, than 10 points smarter in the grade book, because what I would do is I would go work out over my lunch. I'd sit on a bike, or I'd get on the treadmill and study that way. So I know that it was more important for my health to have an 80% in the class than have a 90% if I could get an hour of exercise in. So just kind of justify or look at what's happening in your life, and what are those big stressors? Like, what's causing you to stress eat? What's causing you not to sleep? Try to identify those. And then again, there's super simple things. You cannot change the other people. You can only change yourself, but you can do things like taking a nice Epsom salt bath, using some essential oils on your pillow, on different stress points on your head. Also, you can start journaling in your journey, something that your body did for you you're thankful for. So maybe you're thankful that you have eyes to see. Maybe you're thankful you have legs that could walk. Maybe you're thankful that you weren't sick today and didn't have a headache. Writing down a couple things a day in a gratitude journal before you go to bed can set the standard for how you wake up in the morning. Because if you go to bed with a positivity attitude, that's a new word, then we know our hormones are going to be more balanced, our body's going to rejuvenate, we're going to anti-age, and then we're going to wake up feeling refreshed in the morning, not tired and stressed from the day before, not sleeping well, which leads to overeating and eating garbage. So just try to identify some stress. The other thing is identify some toxins, and we're going to talk more about this week, but maybe you're doing a lot of artificial sweeteners in your coffee or foods that you're having. Maybe you're using a lot of toxic makeup or toxic cleaners in your house, or maybe dryer sheets, things like that. All those little bits of toxic things in your cupboard, in your pantry, in your cleaning can lead to a whole storm of toxins into your body. We're actually exposed to almost 80,000 toxins before we walk out the door. So if we can take away that toxic cleaner, if we can take away the toxic dryer sheets, maybe the deodorant, maybe not wearing perfume, all those things over arouse your nervous system. Actually, if you can be more natural with that, then your body's actually going to calm down and you're going to have greater success. And we're going to talk more about naturally cleaning up your environment here in the next couple days. Number 5, fasting and timing that you eat. I watched The Science of Fasting on Amazon Prime. There's so much clinical data out there that has been out there for 2 or 3 decades. They say it's almost more important when you eat than what you eat. So what does that mean? Sorry, my mouth is dry, guys, because I'm in ketosis. So what that means is normal Americans, I still got that backwards, didn't I, guys? I'll learn one of these days. If you get up and you eat breakfast at 6 a.m. and then you eat dinner at 8 p.m., you are waking your digestive tract work 14 hours of the day. 14 hours of the day. We have more nerves in our gut than our spinal cord. We know that the #1 pill sold through pharmacists is actually Prilosec, a pill used for digestion. So we have a lot of gut issues, from leaky gut to ulcerative colitis to diverticulitis, just to gas and bloating, constipation, diarrhea, you name it. There's a lot of stuff happening with the gut. But if your gut is digesting food from 6 to 8, 14 hours a day, that doesn't leave very much time for your body to focus on getting rid of old white blood cells you don't want anymore, or focus on anti-aging, or focus on your BDNF factor, your BDNF. That's actually a brain neurotrophic factor that helps your brain cells regenerate and make new ones. Maybe it focuses on getting away those precancerous cells or getting rid of allergies or toxins in your body. If you're eating 14 hours a day, your body can't do that. So when we're talking about intermittent fasting, specifically what that means is a time that you're eating and a time that you're not eating. So either your mouth is open and you're eating, or it's closed and it's not eating. So when you look at the clock, I had Dr. Ralph bring this home, this is exactly what we're talking about. So when we talk about intermittent fasting, it just simply means a time you're eating and a time you're not eating. And you know, and I like people to start with an 8-hour eating window. So what that would look like for the average person is maybe you're going to wake up at 6 and you're going to have some water, maybe even a cup of coffee, and have that first kind of meal or snack around 10 a.m. and then have that last meal around 6 p.m. if you're going to eat with your family. That's an 8-hour eating window. Now that can adjust based on time and how you feel. So everyone works different schedules. I met with patients that some start their day at 4 o'clock in the morning. Somebody else gets up at 3:30 every morning. Some other people get up at 9 every morning. It is best to get up with the sun, but I know all of our jobs are different. So when we're talking about intermittent fasting, we want to pick a window that we're going to eat in based on when we're hungry. And that's okay if tomorrow it's 10 a.m. and the next day maybe it's 9 a.m. and maybe this weekend it's going to be 12 to 8 p.m. That's okay. The only thing I really request that you do is I want your last meal in the evening 4 hours before you go to bed. Turn the paper around to see through. Maybe that'll work, Dave. Is that going to work? Kind of, sort of. I know you're supposed to hit the things down below. Thanks for trying. So when you're looking at that, just think, okay, if I'm going to eat in an 8-hour window, I will actually eat, again, between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. or maybe 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So you can kind of juggle that window. And we talked about metabolic confusion in number 4, then that's when we can talk about intermittent fasting, where we're mixing up those times that we're actually eating. So when you wake up in the morning, have some water, have coffee or tea, or you want, your first meal should be when you're hungry, not just when the bell rang off or that's when it was convenient for you to eat, when you truly want to eat. Food is meant to break down to give us energy. If we're eating and we don't need energy, our body stores it in the form of fat. If we do need energy, like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, then the body uses that food that you eat and you get energy out the other end. If you're overeating when your body doesn't need energy and you're not hungry, get stored for fat, can make us sluggish, can make us tired, and lead to a ton of cravings. So what I generally like to give a little bit of advice is just kind of start down what your typical day looks like now. So take a couple days to journal your journey, see what it really likes. And then again, we talk about 2 or 3 degree shifts. If you know that you are this person eating in a 14-hour window, I'm going to ask you to move it up an hour. Just an hour, or maybe 30 minutes on each side of that. And then on the weekend, maybe you don't have this, you have more flexibility on the weekends with your job, then maybe just try to have a nice big brunch at 11 a.m. and just finish that meal at 5. And so then you're getting a couple days a week where you're eating in a 6-hour window. Metabolic confusion. Our ancestors used to hunt and gather. Some days they'd hunt and get stuff, and some days they'd hunt and they wouldn't get stuff. So this is what our bodies are meant to do. We still are born every day in ketosis. All the babies born today, the baby born 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, they are all born in that state of ketosis. our ancestors, they were also born in ketosis, except they didn't have drive-through, they didn't have refrigeration, they didn't have full pantries, walk-in pantries, all that good kind of stuff we have now. So our bodies never caught up with the evolution. We know that we're still born in ketosis. We know that breast milk is still what our bodies require. That's how our bodies were made as women, for babies to have that. That's why they don't have any teeth yet. When they get teeth, then we give them food and they stop breastfeeding. So we know that that situation has not changed since the biblical times or ancestors times. But we, however, have decided to start feeding 14 hours a day, many hours of the night. And so if you're eating at 8 p.m., it takes 4 hours after you eat your last meal for your whole digestive tract and nervous system to calm down. That means your brain and nervous system isn't shutting off until almost midnight if you're eating that late. And if you're waking up at 5 or 6, you are not getting that 7 to 9 hours of eating, which is so important. So the question is what can I have outside that window? So this is the one I posted that you guys had commented on. So when we talked about it's more important when you eat than what you eat. So when this is my typical day, so when I wake up in the morning, I first thing have a ton of water, 12 to 16 ounces. Maybe I have a cup of tea, or maybe I have a cup of coffee and I put a little cream in there. Or maybe I wake up and I have some exogenous ketones. Those are fats. They are not going to raise my glycemic index. Now, for some of you who may have adrenal stress, maybe you're putting dairy in your coffee, you have a dairy allergy, that could drive your glucose up. If it changes your glucose after consuming, then your fast just got broken. But generally with exogenous ketones, it's not going to happen. With bone broth or with coffee or tea, that should not happen. So again, eating between, again, maybe 9 and 6 here, so an 8-hour window, I'm going to consume all my nuts and veggies and fruits throughout that time. And then again, when my window stops, I'm still going to continue to have water. I can still have some tea. I can have bone broth. I can have some ketones. So when you're thinking, what can I have outside my eating window? You want to consume what does not really have calories. Like bone broth has a little bit, but there's so many minerals involved, or any type of herbal tea or keto calm tea or water. All those things are great to have inside that window. So again, this is an 8-hour window, and I challenge you all to do that. And if you're going to eat on an 18 or 8-hour window, there's 24 hours in the day. So if you hear people saying 12-12, 10-14, that means 12 hours are eating, 12 hours are not. 10 hours are eating, 14 hours are not. I showed you a picture where 8 hours you're eating and 16 hours you're not. It's not really very hard until people start making rules up. But if you're having gum and candy and mints outside this window, so that stuff all needs to be happening here. So if you're having mints and candy over here, you're still consuming food because it still has calorie and still has sugar. So that's my little 101 on intermittent fasting. See what your body's doing. So wake up tomorrow, eat when you're hungry, see why you're eating and what you're eating, and start journaling that journey. And I'm happy. I've got a bunch of people who have been sending me emails. I will send you out a food log that you can journal that stuff down in. I'll give you a food list so you can be complete on that. And a lot of times, I'll talk about this in just a minute. So we talked about stress, we talked about sleep and identifying toxins. Maybe you said, you know what, Dr. Heather, I drink my water, I rotate my intermittent fasting, I change my foods around, I've been journaling my journey, I have really eliminated some stress, I've gotten off some committees, I've maybe love from a distance from some friends or family. I've really reduced that stress. I've created this confusion. I do yoga some days, some CrossFit some days. I am still stuck. Stuff is not moving. The inches aren't moving. This isn't moving. Well, I would then say, what tools are you using? So are you using some tools to help immobilize that fat if you've been metabolically stuck, insulin resistance? Those tools might be an anionic foot bath. It could be an infrared sauna. It could be a steam sauna. It can be acupuncture, which helps balance out your yin and your yang. It can be a nice Epsom salt bath. It can be adding exogenous ketones. It can be hypnosis, because sometimes we're so overstressed, the body can't tell if we're in a fight or flight. That will also get you stuck. So don't be afraid to use some of those tools. The tools I just shared, I'm reading a list down here, but acupuncture, infrared sauna, steam sauna, ionic foot bath, detoxifying foot bath, acupuncture, ketones, all those things help create some metabolic infusion to get your metabolism up and going. And then number 8, there are a lot of pharmaceuticals that actually inhibit our body from optimizing, whether it be a statin or a cholesterol drug. Sometimes the anti-inflammatory drugs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, will actually increase weight on people. Some of the things we use for anxiety or depression, I'm not telling you to get off any of your medication. I'm just saying this could be be a reason why you're not getting where you want to get. So we know lots of things for anxiety and depression, the benzodiazepam, people can put weight on. Maybe you quit smoking, you got the Chantix or the gum, that can put weight on you. It's not the non-smoking, it's actually the medication that's doing that. So just identify that maybe you're not moving as fast along your journey as you want to. Well, maybe you have some pre-existing conditions. Insulin's job is to deposit fat. That's why we actually formulated it back in the 1920s. We found babies that were failure to thrive and coming out super small. We found out that insulin actually deposits fat. So we got some insulin from a pig or a cow, gave it to babies, babies put on fat. Every time we eat a carbohydrate or protein in excess, then we see that we need insulin, so that's how we get fat deposit. That's why we're really encouraging you to identify, my body needs energy, it's tired, I'm not thirsty for sure, I need to eat some food. So there could be some prescription. We know hormone replacement therapy can also, whether it's natural or artificial or synthetic, that can also cause you not getting where you want to get with your weight scales. And with that being said, then get with your doctor and have them check. If your body has lost 30 or 40 pounds of fat, then you need to have your hormones checked, have your minerals checked, because what happens is as you lose 30 or 40 pounds of fat, in that fat cells are also essential nutrients like iron and sodium, potassium, magnesium. The body actually will hold on to things. If you're anemic or know that you have a tendency to be low on iron, your body actually will hold on to some of that extra fat just for a rainy day, because iron is so important for energy. So get those metabolic checks. Testosterone, estrogen, thyroid, cortisol, all those hormones can actually be pretty significant when it comes to actually balancing out and winning at the lifestyle that you want. And then number 10, my final one, is carb creep. It's true, it happens. Maybe you were a great starter and you think, gosh, I'm doing exactly the same thing and I was averaging 2 or 3 pounds a week, or my blood pressure was coming down, my blood sugar was coming down 3 or 4 points. What's happened? Well, it's called carb creep. That's why we journal the journey, which means, oh, I just took a little bite of this, oh, I had a little bite of that, oh, I had a little drink of this, I had one chip at the restaurant, I had one bite of my grandchild's bottom of the bag fry. Those all add up. So watch for carb creep. It's a real thing that happens. And so what we like to use at Carden Center for Wellness, and I tell everybody, it's a 10-day keto kickstart manual. It's a 24-page manual, because what happens after 10 days is your taste bud totally turns over. So if I burn my tongue today, it'll be healed in 10 days. What that means is we have 4 different areas of taste buds on our tongue. So as things become, we remove the sugar and the carbohydrates and fruits out, things become to taste a lot sweeter when you try to reintroduce sugar, which means you're less likely to overfeed on it. As your body gets desensitized to sugar, think about a kid who can eat a whole bag of Skittles, where maybe you're the person who's been really great, you've cut out sugar, and even a strawberry tastes sweeter. 2 Skittles would be too much or hurt your teeth, or a donut would hurt your teeth. That's because someone who can eat all that sugar, their bodies become desensitized. Just like an alcoholic, it's the same type of thing. But if you can cut out the garbage for 10 days, you're going to have an amazing win. And when I share about journaling the journey, for me, what that looks like, and I'll learn one of these days how to make this right, is I have people write down breakfast, lunch, and dinner, how they were feeling, did they exercise, do they have pharmaceuticals or prescriptions that they take. So I just have them start being their own detective, because when you can be your own detective, and just replay this back and I'll sum it up here real quick, you're going to find yourself winning at a faster rate and having a lot more success. So let's just recap winning at your way of eating, whether that's keto, whether it's low carb, whether it's paleo, whether it's gluten-free, all these rules still apply that can happen. So number 1, revisit your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I making changes? Maybe you're doing it preventative wise because you have other people in your family, like I do, that had significant health issues and don't want to go down that path. Maybe you've had some big health issues and had a big wake-up call, or maybe you had the perfect storm, we call it, that onset some diseases of civilization, whether it be obesity or cancer, heart disease, inflammatory disease, autoimmune disease, gut inflammation. This is for you. So define that solar plateau. Again, make sure you measure head to toe on the scale. Also, take your blood pressure. You can pick up sticks, and you can also, I'm trying to find a page in here for you guys. You can also measure your oral pH. You can check your urine pH. There's lots of things you can do to be your own detective. You don't have to go buy a bunch of stuff, because oftentimes when you're at Walmart or CVS, you can get your blood pressure taken there. Page I was looking for. So when I take body measurements, I have people take them neck, arms, shoulders, chest, stomach, thighs, feet, calves, all those type of things. Again, just let me know and I'll send that back out to you. So identifying those stalls or plateaus. Number 1, make sure you're drinking enough water. Number 2, check for any type of hidden food allergies, dairy, moldy things that actually can cause inflammation in your body and also can wake some weight creep up. Journal your journey so you know what you need to change, because if you're not writing it down, you don't know what you've had or where you're going. Metabolic confusion, shift up the different foods that you're eating, the different vegetables, the different times, switch up your workouts. If you've been doing 5 miles every single day, maybe you started at a couch potato and now you're doing a 5K and you've been doing that for maybe 60, 70 days, that becomes your activity of daily living. You've got to do some type of little HIIT workout, some bursts, 6 minutes of a jump rope, running up and down your stairs. We often talk about, if you have a desk job, every time you get out of your chair, do some tricep push-ups. Or every time you go to the bathroom, do some push-ups against the wall. Or you can do them right here at your desk. So get your lymphatic system moving, get outside, get some good sunlight. And again, we need about 7 to 9 hours, no less than 7, no more than 9 hours. Also identifying stressors and how to relieve those. We talked about baths and Epsom salt, gratitude journal, positivity, sending out text to 5 or 6 people that maybe you haven't talked to in a little bit. All those things are positive things that make your brain super happy, that allow your body to let go of unwanted fat and toxins. We talked about intermittent fasting, so timing. You got to journal the journey, know what time you're eating, and don't set a timer like it's 11 o'clock, I have to eat. Listen to your body. If you think you're hungry, drink water first. Now I'm going to take a drink. Wait 20 minutes. If you're still hungry, then absolutely eat. I generally like to say eat fat first, a handful of olives, a bite of guacamole, maybe some nuts or seeds, things like that. And again, I'm going to challenge everybody this week to do an 8-hour window of eating. Outside the window, what is safe to have? Water, any herbal tea, coffee as long as you don't have adrenal insufficiency, exogenous ketones, those things are all fine, and bone broth are all fine to have within there. And then again, look for some tools. Tools like a hot sauna, infrared sauna, an ionic foot bath, acupuncture. Those things are great tools to help immobilize in your body and get it unstuck, so to speak. Make sure that you're a little detective on your prescription medications. We're not telling you to stop them, but know that they could be slowing down the progress that you may want to have. And then number 9, if you are having some issues or stuff is definitely not moving after 2 weeks, check with your doctor, have your hormones checked from your estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, thyroid, all those things, have them checked. And then last, look for carb creep, because it can really happen before you know it. Like maybe before you're just having salads and all of a sudden you're used to a different type of dressing that maybe has some sugar in it. Maybe you thought you bought the same peanut butter, but this peanut butter has a little bit of sugar in it. Maybe you thought you bought the sugar-free ketchup, and next thing you know, you've got 20 grams of sugar in there. It can creep in there pretty quickly. And with that being said, I don't do math on all those funny bars that you buy everywhere. So if it says, oh, I'm starting at 25 carbs, and if you do all the special math, you're down to 2 carbs. I only use carbs when I'm talking about green vegetables, nuts, and seeds. So my chia seed recipe, hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, nuts, and then again, all the green leafy vegetables. That's the only time I do total and net carbs. I definitely don't do it on any processed or prepackaged food. So those are really my big tips tonight for winning at your way that you choose to eat, or your way of eating, WOE everybody says. And then again, hopefully some tips here that says, you know what, I actually need to do a little bit better with my water. Or maybe, you know what, maybe I've let that window kind of open up and I'm chewing some gum and some mints outside. That can definitely help your body stop. And if you're chewing and having mints in that non-eating time, then your body says, oh my gosh, food's coming. She's been chewing for 25 minutes. Where's the food? Your body still dumps enzymes. Your stomach gets ready for food. Your gallbladder could get ready for some stuff coming. Nothing comes. It does wacko things to your insulin or some of your pancreatic enzymes. So I'm going to take just about 2 minutes to see if there's any questions here. Oh, I don't know where the questions went that I can ask or that I can help you answer here today. When you say not to eat the same food the same day, give me an example. So when we talked about that, that means don't have chicken and broccoli, you know, Monday night and Tuesday night. Don't have hamburger Monday night and Tuesday night and Wednesday night and Thursday night, because Dr. Simeon found if you ate the same foods 4 days in a row, your body gets stagnant. So no 2 foods 2 days in a row. So Monday night is meatloaf, Tuesday night could be tacos, fish could be Friday, turkey could be Thursday, another white fish could be Wednesday. So just rotate through those green beans, broccoli, asparagus. Just rotate through all those vegetables, because they all look differently. They all taste differently because they all have different macronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. How about even though I've lost weight, I've gained fat and lost muscle? So what can happen if you go on and this this is scientific information. If you go on a low-calorie diet, you slow down your metabolism. If you're fasting, we have what's called myostatin and ketones. When you're in a fasted state, your ketones actually protect your lean muscle from being broken down. If you're on a low-carb diet, but you're still eating significant carbs of your calories, so maybe you're only eating 1,000 calories or 800 calories, and maybe 40% of those are carbohydrates, carbohydrates only work about 30 minutes. So once you eat your apple or broccoli, then your body says, dude, I need more energy. Where am I going to go? You're not giving me any food. I'm going to tap into my lean muscle mass and start to break it down. That's definitely what happened to me in the 1980s. I was running a lot of marathons, doing some triathlons. I was going to spaghetti dinners the night before. I was post-feeding with lots of white rice. What happens is if you don't have the fat or the ketones to protect your lean muscle, your body starts breaking down your lean muscle. And as women or anybody aging, kids, that's the last thing we want. So yes, you can change the scale. You can get a smaller version of yourself. What we don't want happening is we don't want bone mass loss, and we definitely don't want to have lean muscle mass loss. Let me see if I can find one more question here. And oftentimes I'll pop back on an hour or so. So, gosh, you guys, thank you for all your encouraging. So thank you guys for all joining me tonight. Thank you for your encouraging, and thank you for giving me great topics to talk about. Last week we talked about fibromyalgia, so if you missed it, you can go back and look at last week. What I do try to do, I don't have very good IT skills, is actually put them on my YouTube channel, which is Ask Dr. Heather, so you can go back and find them pretty simply. So if you go Ask Dr. Heather and thyroid, Ask Dr. Heather and adrenal glands, you'll find that food allergies, they're going to be actually on my YouTube channel. So yes, you can absolutely buy these books. I'll put the link down below and send them out. You can find them also on my Instagram, which is Ask Dr. Heather. On my link tree, you can just click through PayPal and get it delivered right to your house. So I do want to let you know that there's 2 times a month that I start a 10-day keto kickstart, which includes the plan, daily accountability, where we come on every day and I come in live and we give you a tip and a hack to make sure you're being accountable. We make you check in at night to make sure you're off to a great start. So if you want to know more about that program, just please private message me and I will absolutely send that out. Our topics next week are ketones and GI distress, and I think it's ketones and thyroid. I'll have to look at that because I really went with what the most common questions are. So thank you guys again for joining me. I feel very blessed to be here with you. This will be our regular time, which is 7:30 Central Standard Time every Thursday night. And I know the sun's going down, so I need to get off chatting. But I do enjoy all of your comments. I enjoy hearing your amazing experiences and testimonies. You guys inspire me to be a better physician, a better teacher. You make me deep dive into this conversation to make sure I'm always bringing you current, credible information. Because guys, it's confusing out there. Like, I still can't get on Pinterest. There's way too many things. And I know that's happening. Patients every day, like, I don't know where to start. Everybody told me to do this. I drove to the bank and the bank lady told me to buy this, and this was on sale at the pharmacy, and then I saw this on the internet. Next thing you know, people are bringing in, no joke, suitcases, laundry baskets, grocery bags full of supplements they don't even need and they didn't even buy, and half of them contain sugar. So that may be a great topic too, is how to really recognize what supplement you need and what's a good quality and what's not a good quality. So I'm actually thinking out loud, I'm going to go put it on my list right now. Thank you guys again for joining me. Again, Randa, if you want to know more about my 10-day keto kickstart, please just send me an email either through Messenger, and I'll send a group email out tonight. But enjoy having you guys with me. Please feel free to share this information with friends. My mission in life is to help 1 million people or 100 million people before I leave this earth. And you guys are going to help me do that, because in the office, I can probably see 20 patients a week, maybe 25 at my busiest days. Here, hopefully, I actually can help more people at a faster rate. So you guys have an amazing evening. I'm super excited to hear where your health journey is going. Again, I'm going to continue to take polls to hear what you guys want to know more about. So this is Dr. Heather Carden saying have an amazing evening, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.